Hi guys, good evening. Happy Friday, Saturday, because this will probably be released on Saturday. But wow. This week was a very, very good week for both Invincible and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. When I tell you their episodes were on point, on point. Today, in this video, we're going to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episodes 3 and 4, because I didn't really want to record last week, so I was like, whatever, we'll do a double feature this week. And I was talking with my friend, and he gave me some unintentional good advice about being concise and getting to the point. So I took notes, and I'm going to be referencing these notes when I talk about episode 4 and 3, because I wrote a little bit on 3. I think it'll help me be more concise and getting to the point of things, and so I don't ramble off, So thank you, friend, for that advice. Unintentional, of course, but I took it into account. So let's get started with episode 3. So we're reintroduced to Zemo. He breaks himself out of prison with the help of Bucky. And essentially they break him out of prison because they're trying to figure out, where is this super soldier serum coming from? Where is it coming from? So Zemo helps them to get into a club and sort of figure out who is responsible for the super soldier serum, where is it coming from, how much does Carly have? Because we know by this point that someone has been threatening her unless she returned the serum. So the meeting at the club goes awry because they get made, right? But before that, they figure out his location during this meeting. And they figure out someone named Power Broker. So after things go awry, it turns out, unbeknownst to the trio, which is Bucky, Sam, and Zemo, and that's how I'll be referring to them throughout the rest of this video. The trio, unbeknownst to them, has a guardian angel in the form of Sharon. She helps them to get a lead and really pinpoint Nagel's location. So it turns out he's in a shipping yard, and he built his lab within the shipping container, which is a true feat. Very true feat. Never seen that one before. That's that is a new one, right? So they go to interrogate him. All the while, these hitmen are coming after them. I believe they were brought to by the power broker. I could be wrong. But Sharon is really holding her own against these men. Like, she's a badass. She kicked all of their asses. She's still doing it while they're interrogating him. So they figure out from Nagel that Nagel made about 20 vials of the super soldier serum, and Carly has all of them. And before she left, she asked him to help someone named Danya. So we figure out later on that Danya she's like a maternal figure for Carly. They have like a mother-daughter relationship. She has a very important relationship with a lot of people within the Flag Smashers and that community. She was a pillar, and she ended up dying. So after they get that information, Zemo ends up shooting Nagel point blank in the head. This is his ulterior motive coming to light. I mean, Zemo is very likable. However, I think that was purposeful by the writers, because I guess they would want the viewers to be blindsided for when Zemo does what he does and betrays them to justify his ends, So this is his ulterior motive. He really has this thing where he wants to eradicate any and everything super soldier related. He wants it gone, completely gone. And I think that was also evident in Civil War. I may be wrong. I need to rewatch that. It's been a very long time since I've rewatched it. But I'm pretty sure he has a real distaste for them. which is why he like framed Bucky, right? But anywho, so he shoots the scientist point blank in the head, and they're like, "What the hell is going on?" So turns out the thing is gonna blow up. They jump out the lab. This huge battle ensues, and during this, in the midst of all this, we get a little more info on Carly and the Flag Smashers and what she's fighting for. So, episode ends. Bucky's taking a walk, and he picks up this orb. It's like a listening device. And he gets to an alley. He's like, "It's about time you came." Camera pans, and it's Io, who is one of the first Dora Milaje that we are introduced to in the MCU. She was in Civil War.
Move, or you will be moved.
As entertaining as that would be.
So, and she was like, "Look, I'm here for Zemo." And it is what it is. And you know, she is not leaving without Zemo's head on the stake. No way. No way. And I was like, woo, 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 woo. So now we get to episode 4. This is when shit really goes down. We start off in Wakanda, and basically Io helped to wipe the Winter Soldier programming from Bucky's mind. He's free. She freed his mind. And it was a great scene. It was great to see Bucky like just crying at the fact that he's really truly free after years and years of being tortured. So that was a great scene. After that, the trio, they're in their little house or whatever, and they're talking about Carly and what they're gonna do, what's the next move. And Sam during this time is trying to show the others that, Carly is different. I don't think she's motivated by pure hatred and pure villainy. Like, I think there's hope for her. He has a lot of compassion for Carly and her cause, and we see that later on in the episode. And Zemo is really, really adamant. He's like, no, there's no hope for her. She's a supremacist. No. I don't know if I liked that he threw the word supremacist to describe that. I don't know. Maybe that might describe some of the people within the Flag Smashers. I don't know if that represents them as a whole. And I don't think it represents Carly and what she's doing. Murderer, criminal, even terrorist, maybe. I could see that. I could agree with that. Supremacist, I don't know. I don't think so. I kind of don't agree with that. So they figure out their next move is going to be Miss Danya. If they get to Danya, they can get to Carly, right? So they got to figure out where her funeral is going to take place. Like what's going to happen, because they learn by this point that she died. So they go out to search for the info. Everyone is pretty uncooperative, except for on Zemo's end. He ends up getting the information from a little girl, and we figure out that the funeral is happening today, and he gets the location. So the trio's chatting again, and Sam he explains Carly's cause. Like, he explains like the point of view. Like, he's saying he has empathy towards Carly because he agrees with the cause, just not the way she's doing it. Because all these people during the blip, they joined together as a community, as a global community, to help rebuild and redefine themselves in this new world. And then that was for 5 years. And then in an instant, as we saw in WandaVision, when Monica came back,
They're all coming back. We don't have the capacity.
In an instant, it was chaotic. Everything was back to normal, but people were showing up out of nowhere. People are aged, people are dead. It was chaotic. And a lot of people were displaced. And the government was lagging their feet. But, you know, of course, Sam doesn't agree that her ends justify the means. He does not agree with that. But he thinks that there's hope for her. So Sam ends up asking Sharon to keep tabs. I guess on them and like Zemo and New Cap. She asks her to keep tabs and she has access to satellites for whatever reason. But they're leaving to go to the funeral, and guess who walks up to them? Mr. John Walker and Lamar. John's walking up, you know, with his shield, big shit, chest pumping out.
Oh, it's too dangerous for you guys to be pulling this shit.
Ah, how'd you find us now? Come on.
John was real amped this entire episode. Like, he was putting 20 on 10. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was going on. I guess he wanted to just get to the bottom of things and get this done. But he was just so hyped. And I think that really clouded his judgment and his decision-making skills. Because he makes some real poor decisions in this episode. Real poor. Ending in murder. So they're like, look, what the hell is going on? They Sam and them tell them about Carly and the funeral, and John's like, all right, cool, we're gonna go surprise her, let's get her. Sam's like, chill out, let me talk to her. I have experience with this. I counseled war veterans. I know what this is like. I can get through to her. She's vulnerable. And he convinces him to let him talk to her one-on-one. He's like, look, fine, but after 10 minutes, we're doing it my way. So Sam and Carly meet after the funeral, and he's talking to her. They're building a bond, right? And so he's trying to tell her, like, look, I understand your cause, I understand your helplessness, but it doesn't mean that you have to have bloodshed. Like, this isn't the way to go. There has to be another way. There has to be a peaceful way to do this. And that is, like more of an emphasis on before, where he was trying to find a peaceful way to take Carly down. And I think these moments is the writers trying to tell us why Steve chose Sam. Because his morals, what he feels is right and wrong, how he operates, how he resolves conflict, very much in line with Steve. Very much so. More so than Bucky and John. He's that perfect middle ground. And that's why I always supported Cap's decision that he gave Sam the shield. And I guess, that's a little bit of foreshadowing to when Sam gets that shield back, because he has to get the shield back, right? Like, he has to. So, anywho, right? They're building a bond, Sam and Carly, but that is shattered because John busts in. He's real impatient. He busts in. He's like, look, you're under arrest. Carly feels betrayed. She runs. Zemo ends up cornering her and shoots her in the stomach. She falls back. The vial of super soldier serum falls out onto the floor. Zemo begins to crush every single vial with his foot, except for one. One ended up rolling off into the corner. Carly ends up getting away, and John whacks Zemo in the head with the shield. Ooh, boy, that was satisfying, I'm not gonna lie. But his eye turns to the vial of serum in the corner. He picks it up, takes it, tells no one. And this is the birth of the US agent. Because earlier, before he busted in, he was trying to get in. Winter Soldier was like, no, you're not getting in. He's like, must be easy for you. All that super soldier serum in your veins. That subtle desire to want that serum plays out right here. So they cut to Carly and them, and they're regrouping, Carly and the rest of the Flag Smashers. They're trying to figure out what to do. Carly's like, look, I can take care of Sam. We're going to separate them, and then we're going to kill Captain America. Their goal is to kill, right now, their goal is to kill Captain America. That's probably the biggest way to send a message. So, they're gunning for Captain America. So, they're talking back at the house, the trio's chatting, and Bucky has his suspicions over John. John bursts in, ready to arrest Zemo once again, 20 on 10. And before he can even do anything, the Dora Milaje, bloop, they come in. It was a badass entrance. It was that whole scene, that whole fight scene between the Dora Milaje and the trio plus Zemo and John and Lamar was amazing. It was my favorite part of the episode. I rewatched it twice now. So they bust him. They throw this like spear right in front of John. Just grazes him. Warning number 1. Then, they're like, look, you had your 8 hours. We're here for Zemo. John's like, look, y'all don't have any jurisdiction here. The Dora Milaje are like, we have jurisdiction wherever the fuck we need to have jurisdiction. Sam is like, yo, John, chill out. Warning number 2. John proceeds to put his hand on Io's shoulder. That was it. She, flips him. She kicks his ass from here to Sunday. It was so glorious to see, right?
We got off on the wrong foot.
Zemo ends up escaping again. He ends up escaping again. After the whole fight is over, John looks distraught that he was just owned by these women who aren't even super soldiers. It was so funny. So we cut to John and Lamar later on, and they're having a chat about the serum. And, he's hinting at the fact that he has the serum. And he's like, look, if you had it, would you take it? And John we sort of get a glimpse as to why this mantle of Captain America is so important to him. Because he talks about how, look, I feel like I can finally do something right. I feel like maybe now I can actually do something right. And I don't know. I feel like if you needed the Captain America mantle to feel like you're doing something that's morally right, something's wrong. You shouldn't need a mantle to do that. You shouldn't need the shield to do that. So I just feel like he's really trying to keep this facade going that, he has this mantle, he has to live up to a certain expectation, but deep down, he's just not Steve. He does not embody him or his morals. He's a lot of like moral ambiguity, and it really comes to play in this episode. And him trying to keep up this image, it's not working. It's not working. So per Carly's plan, she ends up calling Sarah and basically is like, look, I don't know if I can trust your brother because he works with Captain America. And Sarah's like, look, whatever you believe, know that my brother is not working with that man. And Carly's like, okay, I want to set up a meeting or I'm coming after your kids. So Sam hears about this. Him and Winter Soldier meet up with Carly. He's pissed, rightfully so. All the while, Sharon is tracking New Cap, and he and Lamar end up stumbling into an ambush. Lamar gets kidnapped, which was so dumb because it's like, the way that it happened, John, they were literally on the steps. John looks away. He's looking this way for an obscenely amount of time. You don't hear Lamar struggle at all. You don't see him go up the steps. Like, he just wasn't paying attention. Him being so amped, it really clouded his judgment. He could not think straight. So Lamar gets kidnapped, blah blah blah. John goes to fight his way through. Sam and Bucky are rushing to save him. John's fighting them, kicks the shit out of one of the members. He flies to the wall. He hits him with this steel bar thing. John bends it. We now know as an audience, and Sam now knows, that he took the serum. The U.S. agent slowly being born. In the comics, John Walker is the U.S. agent, which is like, he's not another Captain America, but he's like more of a government sanctioned Captain America, like in the show. His suit is a lot different, but he has like a shield as well. I don't know too much about him. I have to do more research. I'm not sure if he's a straight up anti-hero or a straight up villain. So anywho, during this whole like fight scene, Lamar gets free of his restraints. They're fighting. Carly is about to stab John, and Lamar charges at Carly and saves John. Carly responds, pushes him, or like punches him into this column, this concrete column. Lamar is dead. He's dead. Instant death. I was silent that whole time. It was just, they actually killed Battlestar. Like, I couldn't believe it. And in that way, the music was building, and he just slumped and died. It was wow. It was wow. Like, he broke his neck. He was gone. And John is like, oh my God, Lamar. And everyone's looking in shock that this happened. And something in John breaks. He completely loses it. He runs after the members to try and get to Carly. He corners one on the steps of this monument in like the middle of wherever they are. He corners this guy, traps him with the shield, and the guy's like, oh my God, it's not me, it's not me. And John murders him. He murders this guy in front of an entire audience, in front of Sam, Bucky, and Carly, by repeatedly bashing him with the shield. And the final shot pans up. John's holding the shield. There's blood on the shield. And that's the final shot. And what a fucking powerful shot. The real John is here. I think everything that happened to him during war, what he had to do to get the recognition that he has today, he had to cross some lines. And I think a part of him, that part of him is here, where he crossed that line to do what he felt needed to be done. And I think that's going to continue on in the series. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen, because this happened in public. People recorded this. His image is done. I'm sad they killed Battlestar. It's a crazy episode. It really, really was. That's pretty much all I have to say on it. This is crazy. I'm sorry this is so long. I wanted it to be a little detailed. I hope I was a little more concise in my feelings and thoughts on the show. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye.